Welcome to the BC Wine Show. I'm Marnie Martin with Vista Wine Group, and I'm interviewing some of BC's top, most successful winemakers and industry pros on how and why they do what they do and what they're up to next. So grab yourself a glass of wine, and I'll see you on the inside. Hey everybody, welcome to the BC Wine Show. I'm Marnie Martin with Vista Wine Group, and today I have Erich Smith-Peter with me from Crescent Winery in the beautiful Penticton area. How are you today?
I am doing very well, thank you very much.
So you've been with Crescent Hill for how long now?
I started Crescent Hill just as an aide because they were needing somebody to take care of the vineyard in August, but quickly took on the winery in September, beginning of September of last year, so 2019.
Okay, awesome. And I know you've had some previous experience in several other wineries prior to coming to Crescent Hill. Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, so my background is actually science. So I have a biology bachelor degree focused on molecular biology, and then a master degree in microbiology, molecular biology, pharmaceuticals, and biochemistry. I came over to the Okanagan in 2015 to write my articles and fell in love with wine and winemaking processes with Jack Kemp, who was at Moraine Winery, now at Therapy Vineyards. She's from New Zealand. She's an amazing woman, and she was also a biologist for probiotics back before she switched as well to winemaking. And so at the same time, I did work in Caledon for the Andersons, and also Kevin doing some wine work there. My first real vintage was with Paul at Penticton Winery in Julie. And then I moved over to Moraine for the last 3 years under Jack Kemp, and recently Dwight Sick as well, who was at Stag's Hollow previously.
Wow, that's quite the collection of people you've worked with.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. Kevin Roussillon has Plot Winery with his wife Rena as well. So nice. It's kind of fun to have a little bit of everything touching around. Also worked with Lunescence and Michael and Martina in Summerland and their vineyard for a while. So that's about a little bit of my background in the wine industry.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how many of the winemakers get to know each other and have friendships and collaborate and share ideas, which is what makes the BC wine industry very special, because it's still a fairly young industry and it's a small region. So yeah.
Lots of different things going on in a small region like ours, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Now, of course, I'm a huge fan of Crescent Hill Wines because we've been working together now for about 1.5 years. And you guys are doing some pretty special things over there. Not only do you have a really great funky label and different winery or wine names, but you guys also are doing some pretty cool things with the sustainability in the winery. So maybe tell us a bit about what you're doing and what you're most proud of about the way you guys are producing the wine.
Well, my huge addition to the winery itself, I think it's my viticulture experience and the way I understand the vines, also the microbiology for the winemaking with yeast and the enzymes and proteins. But I do a lot of sustainability farming or viticulture, which involves no glyphosate, no Roundup. It's all nicely worked by hand. Organic sprays like oils and sulfur, cumulus, and all this. And I think that the way that I crop and I take care of the vines is going to give us a product that is going to help us make the best of wine. So basically, I like to refer to let's say the Italians and their spaghetti. I mean, you can make a spaghetti sauce by buying the can of diced tomatoes and spaghetti sauce at Save-On Foods. You won't get the same final product as if you handpick fresh tomatoes from your garden and fresh organic garlic And you get a chorizo, for example, that's been cured for about a year and a half, and make a nice little pasta with that, you know. So the grapes to me are the most important part, and that's what I focus on in the winemaking as well. And then the winemaking just does itself really, which is great, because all the aromas are already there. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's a really great analogy, because obviously that is the case when you grow local and you tend things by hand, just like gardening. It's you get a way better product. So it sounds like you take an awful lot of pride in what you do. So talk to us a little bit about the family component, and yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, I really am. I consider myself very lucky to be working there. Crescent Hill Winery would have been winery license number 4 if the first generation of Murray's, which is Glenn Murray, would have licensed as a winery. He did plant the vines, though, coming from Europe, and now he has a daughter who's taken over Crescent Hill Winery, which is Teresa, and a third generation, her daughter as well, Tisha, is now part of the whole business. What I like to talk about and why I think I'm so lucky is not just because the family has an extraordinary history and they're really good people and warm-hearted. I also like to work with the vines that are there. So these vines were brought hand-picked from Europe back in the day, where there wasn't even any viticulture for these types of grapes here in the Okanagan. He brought some Gewürztraminer, Chardonnay, Riesling, and going to the Summerland Research Center back in the 60s or 70s, he said, "Hey, I want to plant these European varietals." And the answer from before the big pullout, obviously, the answer from the Summerland Research Center or station was, "Glenn, the day you can plant those in the Okanagan, they survive, pigs will fly." So he did it anyway. So he's a real pioneer. So it was really great to have these 50, almost 40 to 45 to 50-year-old vines and to work with them. So yeah, I'm pretty lucky. Great history.
That's fantastic. That's a great story. I know, and when I'm talking to people, I always say, Glenn Allen went over to Europe and brought this vines back in his suitcase back in the day when you could actually do that kind of thing. So it's a great story, and I think people love that kind of thing, because obviously he's not afraid to take a few risks and see if he can't make it work.
Yeah, no, it's fun because we have a top vineyard near the house, which was his Experimental Vineyard, which is a bunch of different varietals. He has 6 varietals of Muscat, and obviously the Pinot Noir and the Gewürztraminer and the Chardonnay, Riesling. But yeah, it's a very fun place. He actually flew and had to fly in from Europe as well, all of the equipment, so the press. He flew in, I think, 5 Pasquales, which are really sought after tractors that bend in the middle for this kind of vineyard work, and the filter is also from Switzerland. So it's fun to work with all this kind of antique material as well. It gives a little bit of a cachet to the place.
Oh, absolutely. Sounds like it's a lot of fun to work there. So I know you guys have some new things coming out as well, which is a few new releases that maybe you want to talk to us about.
Yeah, so I decided I was going to do a neutral Chardonnay. So we call it the Estate Chardonnay. So that's a new release that we're going to have in this 2020 year. Also, we have Merlot we're calling Man Medusa. Blanc de Noir we also have, which is Pinot Noir with no skin contact. So basically just pressed instantly, kind of like a white wine. Yeah, so that's really exciting. We got 3 new releases on top of all of our usual, sparkling and whites and our Sea Hag Cab Sauv.
Awesome. I'm going to actually put a link in below here, so you should see the website name, so you can go and have a look at some of the wines, and hopefully we'll get a photo of some of the great labels. I know that the story is that all of the labels are done by, or most of the labels are done by a local artist named Janice Blythe, and she has some incredible, I don't know what you call it, almost like an animation, but it's very personal because a lot of the labels actually have a family member on them. Is that right?
Yes, actually, Teresa and Janice Blythe, Teresa being the owner, Teresa Murray, they're friends, and she contracted her to do most of the labels with the story to them. Absolutely, yeah. We actually just got a new label done for her father, Glenn, who's a pirate with, bringing over a bunch of vines from Europe. So, yeah, Janice Blythe is an amazing artist, and my first year here in the Okanagan, she was in Naramata, and I fell in love with her art. And now, you know how life works. I'm actually working at a winery that uses most of her art for our labels and around the wine shop, and it's great. I'm really happy.
That's such a great story, and you know what I love working with you guys is that the wine names are so playful and so much fun. We have Smuggler's Daughter, Island Girl, which of course being over here on Vancouver Island is one of my new faves. I actually have some of that in my glass right now, as a matter of fact. And then we've got Consensual Chaos and I Am Diva and Hissy Fit. So there's some just really fun names. So if you haven't tried Crescent Hill wine, definitely look for it on your store shelves. And if you don't find it, definitely don't be afraid to ask for it as well, because there's some really great wines that are just, especially here on Vancouver Island, just sort of making their way into the stores. What else is going on at the winery? Because I know you guys are doing some other new things now that there's a little bit of extra time, and you guys have been working pretty hard over there.
Yeah, no, we definitely all have a little extra time with this COVID situation, which we're trying to make the most of, right? But we refurbished the whole parking area. We had a new sign, a new beautiful gate, all made by Carson Pope, who is Tisha's husband. And he's also a nice artist. He did some of the label as well for the art. And we're going to expand the winery. And we are planting right now a bunch of vines, so we're getting pretty excited with the whole expansion there. New team as well, Tisha being, since last year, the new manager of the wine shop and director of sales, and I'm coming in as well as an addition to the team. So, yeah, no, we're very happy about what's going on, and we're looking into a positive way for the future for sure.
It's a pleasure to get a chance to just sit and have a conversation for sure.
Thank you very much as well. This is great. I love it.
So my last question for you is, what's in your glass? And that means what are you drinking currently from the BC portfolio that is not being produced at Crescent Hill?
But I did fall in love with one specific wine the first years I was here. And it was from the Petit Pie, or Little Straw. And it's their Pinot Noir Merlot blend. And I thought it was just fabulously old world, a little bit, all of the wines here being more fruit forward. It was kind of refreshing to have something that had a little bit more earthy characteristics to it, and a little bit of that kind of old cellar smell and aroma and taste. And yeah, definitely the fruit came forward as well. And that is what I really enjoyed.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to definitely put that on my list to try. I haven't tried that one yet. And we will be putting a link to some of the winemaker suggestions of their favorite wines from this series. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And Erich, I won't keep you anymore, but you definitely keep safe and stay well over there. And I will hopefully get over to you guys sometime relatively soon once this is all finished.
Awesome. It's been very nice. It was a pleasure. You take care as well.
Thank you so much. And now I'd love to hear from you. If you have a question for a future guest or a comment, please put it in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and the big red subscribe button right down below. Thanks for joining us today on the BC Wine Show. And until next time, stay well, be kind, and enjoy responsibly.